Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Mom Show. This is Dr. D, mom of three, your host. I'm so excited that you're joining us, whether you're listening or watching, because we have a fantastic guest today. As you know, I'm always excited on all the shows, but today I'm even more excited because she has a connection to a previous guest that's been on, but she's going to drop some amazing nuggets on you today also, so I'm super stoked about that. Of course, if you've missed any previous episodes of the Dr. Mom Show, make sure you check that out. After today's episode, we only have one more episode left in season 2. Oh my goodness. So definitely, if you've missed any episodes, go back, listen to them so you have a chance to catch up before season 3 starts. So make sure you do that. And of course, before we get into today's show, don't forget that the Dr. Mom Show is a medical informational resource. It does not take the place of your physician or your child's physician. So please seek your medical advice and your child's medical advice from your own provider. So this episode today is sponsored by the one and only Alea Publishing. So again, don't forget, if you want to turn your vision into legacy by writing your own book, check out aleapublishingllc.com. Love Alea. Whoop, whoop, shout out. So we're going to dive right into our show today. Today we are talking about, I got to give myself credit for this title because I really love it. We're talking about blindness doesn't mean no vision. And that's because I have such an awesome guest on today who I'm so excited to introduce. Today we have on with us entrepreneur and speaker Kamille Richardson. Woo!
Hello, Dr.
Hey, Kamille. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Kamille today. And the reason she's on today and this season is because if you did not know, March is National Vision Awareness. So it's like save your vision, however you want to call it. They have it different ways that people say it. Vision health awareness, and save your vision. And we all know, for me, my vision means a lot to me. Like, my eyes are so sensitive. When I get them checked, I remember the first time I got my eyes checked, I used to work at an eye doctor's office, first of all, when I was in college. And the pediatrics, so this is the eye doctor who takes care of kids. One day we weren't busy and she said, I can do an eye exam on you. And from that point on, she called me Hummingbird because my eyes were just blinking because I was just a spaz when she was checking my eyes.
It's kind of hard to get them checked.
It is. So I'm like a spaz with anything that comes to my eyes. So that's why I am not an eye doctor, because my eyes are just like, I'm like, oh. So I would never wear contacts. If something happens in my vision where I started to lose my vision, because as we get older, we strain our eyes, and now everybody's using like iPhones and computers, I'm sure.
Yeah, that does not help the eyesight.
Yep, the number of people who need glasses is going to go up tremendously, and I will be wearing glasses for sure. I won't be doing contacts because my finger will never make contact with my eyeball. I be backing up. So let me tell you about this lovely guest that I have on today on the Dr. Mom Show. Kamille is amazing. And when you hear all that she has done, she's just so empowering. You're going to want to book her. You're going to want to talk to her. You're going to be like, yo, she needs to be my friend, because that's how I felt when I first talked to her. So I find it just an honor and privilege to even be acquainted with her. So Kamille is the founder and CEO of Blind Girl Vision, and this is a global motivational movement that allows Kamille to use her voice and platform to encourage others to live life to the fullest in spite of their circumstances. But she's not only the CEO and founder of that company, she is also the CEO and founder of IC Technology, which is an assistive company that teaches individuals who have recently lost their vision how to use the voiceover screen reading software on the iPhone. And you may be thinking, why is Kamille doing so many things that has to do with sight and vision and blind girl and all this? Well, let me tell you, Kamille was born blind. However, she has not allowed this to stop her from persevering and succeeding and being amazing at what she does. So I'm so, again, honored to welcome Kamille Richardson to the Dr. Mom Show. Ooh, 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 ooh. Awesome. Thank you again, Kamille. So we're going to dive right in. So Kamille, first of all, I just want to say you're so inspiring, and I thank you so much for being on the show today. I feel you're going to lift up our listeners, our watchers, our audience are just going to love you and be so encouraged. And, I would love for you to share, how was it growing up blind?
Well, it was, for me, I came from a very supportive family. So for me, of course, being born blind, that's all I know. So, I don't have it any other way, but I came from a very supportive family. My parents never, told me what I couldn't do. They never put any limits on me, and I was never sheltered. So I just lived a quote unquote normal life, whatever that is. I was active with my siblings, and I went outside and played. I had chores like all the other kids. There was nothing different about the way I lived. I just had to do things a little bit differently. I was in, regular school for a little while. I kind of did a hybrid. I was in regular school and I was also in the school for the blind as well. But I did extracurricular activities, and, like I said, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood, and my parents instilled in me that can't never could. So I said,
That's
all right,
right.
sounds good to me. And so that's how I always live my life, how I live my life now, without limits.
And I love that, because I think a lot of times in society, if there's something different going on, and that could be something such as blindness, or even if somebody has something little, even if it's a learning disability, I feel a lot of times people make that into a big deal and end up separating people out. And I love how your parents did that they were just like, hey, mama was like, you got to clean too.
Yeah, good Lord, yeah.
She was like, you're not exempt. And I really love that, because you've obviously grown up to be a strong, independent, amazing woman. So shout out to your parents for doing such a good job. And, for those of you listening who do have kids, I feel that's so important. If number one, every child is not the same. You guys know I have the triplets, and even though the boys are identical, personalities completely different, and each one of them have their own strengths as they're growing up now. One's a little, better at something, but that doesn't mean that you love them less, or they won't be as good or successful. It's just they're going to be better at something else. So I really do love that. And just, of course, I got to bring in the medical portion to this. As adults, if you're having any vision issues, make sure that you get your eyes checked. We normally recommend getting your eyes checked at least once a year. And then, of course, with kids, if you have kids, every time your child goes for their well child checkup or their physical. And that's why it's so important. In my practice, I feel like after shots, like big shots are given at 4, and then kids don't get shots again unless it's the flu until they're 11. And between that age group of like 5, after they get their kindergarten clearance form, we lose so many kids because parents are like, oh, well, they didn't need shots. But part of that too is we're doing a full physical, and part of that physical is also making sure they can see, checking their vision, making sure they don't need to be referred to a formal eye doctor for a formal exam. So it's so important to stay on top of that. So let me ask you, Kamille, when did you realize that your loss of vision was a strength and not necessarily a weakness, which I feel a lot of people would feel it is?
Well, again, like I said earlier, my parents raised me to see no limits. So for me, it was always a strength. I always was encouraged to try new things and go out here and just live your best life. So for me, it probably happened. Well, like I said, I've always grown up with no limits, but I guess when I finally took that and became empowered with it, I was an adult. I mean, because of course we all go through those awkward teenage phases, and I am no different. So anything that might appear to be a little different about you when you're a teenager is magnified times 100. But, as I grew up and grew out of that, I came to realize that, I am someone who is a mountain mover, and I am someone
Mm,
who is going to go out and just make things happen.
that's
And I'm
right.
going to be an advocate for myself and other people who may not be able to advocate for themselves as well. So, yeah, that's that, like I said, probably early adulthood, probably 20s.
Yeah. And, I think most of us, that's probably when we really get our feet on the ground, and you're right. I mean,
Mhm.
adolescence and teenage years, I think overall is just rough for most people.
Whew. Yes.
That is a hard time. But so we're gonna jump in. We're gonna talk a little bit about what Kamille does and her companies, and I can't wait to hear about them and for her to share with you so you can hear more about her company. So we're gonna talk about Blind Girl Vision first. Like, how did that come about, and what do you do with Blind Girl Vision?
Well, Blind Girl Vision, like you said, is my motivational speaking platform, where my main thing is I want to empower people to operate in their gifts so that they can live their vision. For a long time, I kind of sat down and hid my gifts away, which is my voice and my ability to connect with people and all of that. I didn't really operate fully in that. And for that, I lost a lot of years and lots of opportunities and such. So when I finally came out of that and, allowed my confidence to rule instead of fear, then I was really able to fully just use my voice and assist people. So I didn't want anybody else to go through that. So, I always, when I speak to people, I encourage them to think about what is it in you that drives you, that inspires you, that you will wake up in the morning and do that for free. And when you think about that, think of how you can fully operate in that, because so many of us live in a world, or we go about a routine and we have these jobs, but they don't bring us joy. So I always want people to do what brings them joy. And if you really sit down and think about what gifts you have, and you really appreciate them and hone in on them and fully operate in those, then you'll be able to do something that feeds your soul, and you'll also be able to share your gift with other people, because the gifts are also not just for you.
That's
They're
right.
for other people.
So true. And, I think sometimes a lot of people get so self-conscious that
Mhm.
they end up holding their gifts and not sharing them and not making the impact that they should be making and they were
Mhm.
called to make.
That was me all day long. I'm telling you, I was holding back, and I was holding myself back, and I was also holding other people back from really being able to release the fear and live in their truth, and live their passion.
Yeah. And I love how you hit on that and you said that you were holding other people back. And you guys need to realize as we do things, we may never realize how many people we impact and how we impact them. But if you aren't doing your purpose, if you aren't living your purpose, telling your story, getting out there, do it, because Camille's so right. Because somebody may be waiting for you. You're that like
That
saving
light.
grace that's
Hmm.
going to come with those words or that story. They're going to that light bulb's just going to go up and to help take them to the next level. So I love that you just said that out loud, that you only weren't holding yourself back, but you were holding other people back by not sharing your strengths and your story.
Hmm.
So it's awesome. So let's hop over to IC Technology. So what is
Oh yeah.
IC Technology?
IC Technology is my company where I teach blind and low vision clients how to use their iPhones and their iPads, so that they can regain their independence and reconnect with the world around them. And with that company, I specialize a lot in people who have recently experienced sight loss,
Okay.
because you're already, trying to cope with a new way of living, and it can be a bit terrifying. And you've got so many things to figure out, but in that, while doing all of that, you've got this iPhone that is, you know when you before you lost your vision, you were just doing your social media and
Yeah.
doing everything you can do on your phone, right? And then you go blind, and all of a sudden it's just this thing that I don't even know what to do with it. And so you've got to have everybody come over and get all up in your business. They got to check your text messages for you. They got to go on your social media and slide into your DMs and see who's doing all that. And so, and by the way, my phone is ringing, but I don't know how to answer it. You know what I'm saying? So you're missing all
Yeah.
kind of phone calls
Yeah.
and going on. So where I come in at is I teach them how to do that stuff independently, because when we have, you don't always want to have to ask somebody to do little things like that. You
Yeah.
don't want anybody all up in your business. And also, our phones are links to, freedom, really. We all have our phones in our hands all the time. So now I'm teaching you, well, not you, but the general person who's lost their sight, how to do things like, go on their Instagram and check their DMs or use Zoom. We've been Zooming so much lately. How
That's
do we
right.
use Zoom? Or how do I get groceries for myself? Or I'm hungry. Let me order up some food on the delivery app. So this is our way. Oh, and I need some groceries. Let me go here and order me up some groceries and have it delivered to my door. So these are things that lead to independence, and also it can lead to employment.
Yeah.
I am, I am currently able to get on the job boards and go on even social media apps now like Clubhouse, where you can make all kinds of connections and you don't know
Mhm.
where that next opportunity lies. So these kinds
That's
of things
right.
are very, very, very important. So I want to teach people how to do that and give them that reconnection back, because vision loss can also be very isolating. So you also want to be able to socialize.
And I love that because you are right. Phones are like flat now. These, the phones, there's no keypad that you can like feel and kind of calculate that, because even when I'm on my laptop, when I go over to if my number pads,
Mm-hmm.
it's flat, but it's still raised, but I know exactly how many they are that I don't have to look. And if I had to feel, I could feel them. But when you have something that's flat, and there's nothing that you could tell. I totally get that. And I love that you're helping people do that and function like that.
Hmm. And we do it. There's a screen reading software on every Apple product. You don't know it's there unless you need it. I would not recommend you turn it on because it's going to be kind of interesting to get it off. But that's what allows me and other people who are blind to be able to navigate our phones the way we do, because it reads everything on our screen. So
Mm,
I teach them how to do that.
I love it. And
Mhm.
again, kind of going back to our title, that blindness doesn't mean no vision. And when I named this show that, there's two things I wanted to hit on. We're talking about like physical, obviously your physical
Mhm.
sight, but the big thing we're hitting on with Kamille is just our vision, our plan, our goals, our dreams is what I'm talking about. And as you can see, just listening to Kamille, she did not at all, starting from her parents, from the time she was born and how she interacted with her siblings and the daily routine she had to do, she did not lose sight of what her vision was, what her goals were. And she's continued to just push through. And you know what, no matter who we are, whether we have sight or not, we all come to obstacles, but we
Right.
all have different obstacles that we have to overcome. And Kamille, you're just so inspiring because, sometimes people may have a paper cut and that'll stop them from like working for the
Those
day. They're
paper
like,
cuts hurt,
oh,
man.
paper cut.
Little teeny
I
cuts
can't
cause so much
function.
pain.
Yeah, paper cuts hurt, but especially now with the hand sanitizers.
Oh my God, I know, right?
But I just love how you're so inspiring. I love it so much. And Kamille just continues to do big things. I mean, I know she's not going to stop here. So with that being said, do you have any new projects or current projects that you're working on that the audience should be on the lookout for?
Well, actually, I am in the process. I don't have a date yet, so I don't want to quite put it out there, but I am working on planning a networking event for, that'll put people who are, blind and visually impaired who are entrepreneurs. We're often a demographic that is under recognized a lot of
Mhm.
times and overlooked as well.
Yeah.
So, I want to be able to put us out here on a grand scale and say, hey, here we are, y'all, in living color. We are, so I want to be able to highlight us. So, like I said, I don't quite have a date yet, but I am working on a networking event that will be for us and to just kind of cross promote even,
Yep.
because I know people, entrepreneurs in the sighted world and in the blind world, and everybody needs to meet because you never know where a
That's right.
collaboration or a partnership could come from.
That's right.
Yeah.
So true.
So I'll definitely keep you posted, but I do not have
I
any
love that.
yeah, to be the
I
coming.
love it. And just in general, you've heard me talk about this too, that collaboration is so strong. And I know a lot of people try to do things on their own because you don't want to give, like, whatever it is, you don't want to give like credit
Mhm.
to somebody else. You don't want to say that somebody helped you. But let me tell you something. When you collaborate with people, I guarantee that you'll get to where you want to go a bit faster. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
exactly.
Because yeah, because I mean, I'm such a believer in why reinvent the wheel or why go
Mhm.
through tedious things when you can meet somebody, talk to somebody, be mentored by somebody or coached by somebody who's already
Mhm.
been there, who's already been through the struggle to help somebody. And I will say too, you should also be doing the same. We should also be doing the same. If you've done something and somebody's reached out to you and said, hey, I see that you've done this, can you help me? Like if somebody reached out to Kamille and said, hey, I see you started your own business, like how did you go about doing that, instead
Mhm.
of trying to like search all over the place, and to help them. Because I know for me, getting where I am and what I do, I haven't had a lot of help. So that's why when people say, hey, how'd you do this? I'm more than happy to help, because
Right.
I'm like, I wish somebody was there helping me.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what's important, really, is just having, extending your hand to help somebody else up. It's not
Yeah,
always about you,
that's right.
so it's really important.
Plus, on top of that, I feel when you help people, their successes are also your success, because
Hmm.
you know that you were part of that journey of their growth.
And that's a great feeling right there.
That's right. That's right. And even better, if you did get help, I just want to remind you, definitely give shout outs to people who helped you. You don't have to like necessarily be paying people, but there's something about saying thank you. There's
Hmm.
something about just acknowledging and recognizing people for the work that they've done. So don't forget, if you have anybody who's like helped you, who's promoted you, definitely just remember to say thank you and give them some kudos. Okay.
Please do.
Well, Kamille, we're so excited. That's so awesome. So, you listeners, if you're out there, if you know anybody who is blind, who's an entrepreneur, that, Kamille is putting together this networking
Yes.
summit, you can always connect with her. Her information is right at the bottom of the screen for you guys listening. You can connect with her at ictechnology06@gmail.com. I'll put those in the show notes too for you guys listening. So, Kamille, tell us, on a day that you were low, because we all have low days. I mean, we all, it doesn't matter.
Gosh, totally.
We all have low days. What's something that you can do, that you can say to encourage the audience that when they have low days, what they can do?
Well, I just say, when you have a low day, just start with gratitude. Like you said, we're all going to have those days and everything seems to go wrong. But take a moment to think about what went right that day. And it doesn't have to be anything, huge. You can say, what went right today? I woke up.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's something to be grateful for. So
That's
just start
right.
thinking of
Especially
things,
now.
and people are like, oh, but sometimes, yeah, especially now. But you've got to find some silver lining, because if you don't, you're going to just dig yourself further and further into
Mm.
that hole. So if you lead with gratitude, even on your low day, it can help to pick you up.
And I love that. So remember, guys, start and end your day with gratitude. And you guys have already heard it here when I've talked about mental health. Studies have shown that people who journal and before you go to bed, write something that you're grateful for. Those people slept better. Those people had happier
Mhm.
lives, because a lot of times it's just a human nature to extract everything that's negative and what bad happened, because imagine if you come home, if you have a spouse, if you have a best friend, and they say, hey, how was your day today? Isn't it the tendency to extract what bad happened so you can
Right.
complain like, you will never guess who
I
did
know.
what?
I don't know why in the world we just don't have that inkling to do something good. Talk about the
I
positive in
know,
our day
right?
first. Let's go there first.
So make that. Right now I'm doing this challenge where it's no complaints, and I've been doing really well because I'm even guilty of, especially work, that you
Mhm.
complain that, somebody's not doing their job, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we all
So
do that.
so I've been more diligent about it and have stopped myself. And I feel it just makes you a more positive person anyway, because any little thing, especially nowadays, there's so much happening. And so many things have changed within the past year that, we need more positive things in our lives, because anywhere
Mhm.
we look around, people are saying negativity. People are just like showing negativity
Mhm.
that, if you can be that light, be that difference in the world and not just follow suit of everybody else. Be like Kamille. So remember, start and end your day with gratitude. Well,
Right.
lovely. And then any final words for the audience?
Well, my final words would be to, again, find that gift, take it down off that shelf that you hit it up on, dust it off and look at it, and then begin to operate in it, enjoy it, appreciate it, and remember that you are worthy of the gift that was given to you. And once you do that and you start saying yes to your gift and yes to yourself, watch the doors start to open, watch the opportunities start to come your way, watch the positivity start to happen in your life. So that's all I want to say to the audience. I really hope that, you find your gift and operate in it so that you can live your vision.
I love it. And again, that's because blindness doesn't mean no vision. And Kamille is a perfect example of that. So find your gift and your calling, operate in it, and you'll see just how your life, your opportunities just expand. And don't forget to show up. You will never know what could happen if you don't show up. And I know sometimes it's really hard between everything that we do, but just make that extra effort to show up. So again, thank you so much, Kamille, for being an awesome guest on the Dr. Mom Show. It's been my pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure to be a part of the show.
And of course, if anybody is interested in connecting with Kamille, again, ictechnology06@gmail.com. If you want to book her as a speaker, you can connect with her at blindgirlvision, all one word, at gmail.com. Again, that'll be in the show notes. It's scrolling right here for those who are looking at this show. Again, if you just want to reach out to Kamille, if you are blind, if you know somebody who's blind,
Mhm.
if you know a blind entrepreneur, and you don't even have to be blind to connect with Kamille. I think overall she's just a great person to connect with, to learn from
Yeah.
her story, to learn from her vision and just all that she's done. So make sure that you connect with her, follow her, and just support her. We all need support. It's always nice to support each other. So don't forget that. So again, Kamille, it has been my pleasure having you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And of course, thank you everybody for listening and watching the Dr. Mom Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Make sure your mom always said don't say something that's negative, and don't say anything unless you have something nice to say. So if you leave a review, make sure it's nice. Don't forget to follow the Dr. Mom Show on Instagram at Dr. Mom _show. And for you Facebook fanatics, check out the Dr. Mom Show page just at Dr. Mom Show. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Dr. Mom Show, and check out my website to learn more about the Dr. Mom Show and get your freebies at drdelenemushalak.com. And of course, remember, life is precious and priceless. You are amazing, and you can do anything you put your mind to because you are a superhero. Just have faith over fear, and God bless. And of course, from Dr. D, Mom of Three, don't forget to wash your hands, kiss your kids, love your family, and say your prayers. Good night. Love you guys. Bye.